What's up, guys? Chili from Otown. Just was gonna try something a little different. So I've been catching a bad string of sevens lately. So I was gonna try something that Midnight Madness told me. He said basically if you had $1,000 bankroll, you'd divide that into 2 bullets. You'd have a 500 and a 500. But I'm just going to assume that I've got the whole 500, the whole 1,000 instead of the 500. So basically what he was saying was you put your money up on the 4, 6, 8, and 10 on the first roll. I mean, not on the come out. So I just practice it. I'm going to do a $10 pass and a $25 ATS. That's my standard for rolling. Whatever the pass line is, I just assume it's a 10. It's more like 15 at most casinos. $25 ATS. Alright, so on the come out, we don't have anything else working. So what we're basically trying to do, we're trying to establish a point first and foremost. So let's see if we can do that first. Get a point. That's right. Alright, we got a 5-1-6. Alright, so this is an on-axis primary hit, 5-1. Alright, so you have to be ready for this too. So the very first hit is a 6. We're going to put money up, but we're not working. So we put 100 on the 4, 120 on the 6, 120 on the 8, and 100 on the 10. Now the 4 and 10 will be buy bets, of course. They're automatic buys over 20. But this is what he said. You're not working, so the bets are off until you get a 5, 9, or yo. So right now, I'm just shooting for ATS. I hit a 6. I'm just basically shooting for ATS. Hey, what's up, James? Man, that's an awesome table you got unpacked and set up there, man. So this right here, I'm looking for a 5, 9, or yo before I cut my place bets on. Dice roll. Alright, we got the yo right there, 6-5 yo. So that's an explosion, implosion. That's a drift. You got the yo. So now, immediately after you hit the 5, 9, or yo, you cut your bets on. So bets are on. Hey, what's up, Dice Grinders? Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. That's awesome. So I was running through this strategy. I just started. Midnight Madness said, try this one. So I'm giving it a little try. Dice are out. Alright, we got a 2-4-6. 2-4-6. So that's an on-axis hit. That is our point made. Now the only thing that I shouldn't have had was this 120. I should have had the 100 back there, but I'm just going to leave it like, no, that's fine like that. Alright, this is what happens. He said, alright, so the 6 was working. We pay the 140. This is what happens. If I got this right, let me see if I got this right. The first hit pays 140, and dang, I'm kind of lost now. I thought I knew what I was doing. So the strategy was I was doing something that Midnight Madness give to me, and you put 440 on the even numbers, the 4, 6, 8, and 10. You only cut the bet. You're never working the come out, and you never work the bets. You only work the place bets after you've hit a 5, 9, or 11. Once you've hit the 5, 9, or 11, you cut your place bets on for the next row. If you hit a number like I just did, the 6, you get paid and cut everything off, and then you wait for the 5, 9, 11 to come again. But I kind of got a little I kind of got a little sidetracked now that I've took my first hit. I was thinking he said after your first hit, you regress. I'm pretty sure after your first hit, you regress 220 off the board. Yeah, I know that's what he said. So I've got the even numbers on the board. I'm not ever working to come out, and I'm only working to place bets after the 5, 9, or 11 shows. So this is how it started. I hit a 6 for the come out. So I established my point, then I hit a yo. So once I hit the yo, then I turn my place bets on, and I turn around and hit the 6. So the 6 was 120, it paid 140, and now it regressed to 220. He said what you can do at this point, you can go ahead and buy the 5 and 9 for hundreds each, but you're still doing the same thing. You're only working the place bets after a 5, 9, or yo show, so no place bets are working right now. Only shooting right now for a point to be established. So dice are out. Alright, so we got a 415. So here's an on-axis hit, 415. We mark the 5 on our small. Pump goes on. Now we hit a 5, 9, or yo, so our bets are on for this next throw. Dice are up. Alright, we hit the 6, 4, 10. 6, 4, 10. We got 100 on it. No, we got 50 on it. So 6, 4, 10. So we get paid the 50. Actually, we get paid 99. So we drop $2 vig. We drop a $2 vig. We get paid 100. Bets go off. Place bets go off. But I think after that second hit, I got to read over it. I got myself a little bit confused. Actually, the optional was the 5 and 9. He said you could just keep running the 4, 6, 8, and 10, or you can do the 5 and 9. But it's like 3 hits and regress all the way down. I have to read back over it. I got myself a little confused. I thought I had it figured out. But I know I never worked any place bets, so these are off. I never work any place bets until after the 5, 6, or 9. What's up, Arnell? Dice are out. Alright, we got our 2-1-3. 2-1-3. So that's our own axis. So this is what we've hit on we've hit the 3, the 5, the 6, we've hit the 9 and the 10. Alright, so this is an odd number, but we didn't hit a 5, 9, or 11, so we're still off on the after the 5, we hit a 10, and then we hit a 3. All right. So 3, 2. So the place bets are still off. And he said you might miss a few hits, and you might get tempted to cut everything on. Just stick with it. Just be disciplined, and leave it off. That's right. All right, we got our 4, 6, 10. So again, say we missed on a payday. That's okay. We're just being disciplined. We're waiting for the 5, 9, or yo to show before we cut the bets on. And I probably got something mixed up on the strategy. I thought I had it figured out, but apparently I don't. I think it was 3 hits. That's what I'm looking for. Then I regress. That's right. Alright, there's again a 6, 4, 10 that we miss on getting paid again. It's okay. He said you will miss a few. You'll miss a few paydays. That's okay. That's 2 10s back to back. I'm pretty sure the first hit you regressed 220 off the board, and then you're looking for 3 hits, and then at that point you should be over a $500 winner. Once you're on your 3rd hit, you go ahead and regress down, and then you just kind of You can either regress to felt or you can regress to low and then start building. You just have options. Nice right. Alright, we got a 628, so we're still messing numbers. But we're just rolling now for this all tall. We've got 25 on all tall. We've hit an 8, 10, and 12, 11. So we did 9 and 12 on that end. We did 2 and 4 on the small end. So this is the first time I tried it. I was just going to give it a try and see what it does. And I'm waiting on a 5, 9, or 11 to show. Dice her out. There's a 4. We hit our 4 on the small. So all we need now is a 2 on the small. We hit a 4. We have nothing on. So we're not really at risk on anything. One thing we're at risk on right here is a pass line. So we have nothing worried. We have no bets working. We're getting close to a small though. We can somehow squeeze some snake eyes out of these dice. We'll be in good shape. Nice right. Alright, we got a 4, 5, 9. So now that we've hit our 9, all we need on the small is a 2 and a 12 for a tall. There's our 9. So now at this point we hit our 9. So we can cut our bets back on for this roll here. 3, 2, 3, 6. Dice right. Alright, we got a 3, 5, 8. 3, 5, 8. So we hit an 8. Now, we hit our 8, so we get paid 70. That would be our third hit. That would be our third hit. Our bets go off, and we reduce. We can do whatever. I don't know. I have to figure out right here what to do. Because I'm pretty sure he said that third hit, you get this money off the board. And it would be a good thing right here to get the money off the board. Anyway, only needing a 2 and a 12. That would be the third hit. So I should be over 500. I started with 440 out there. I took 3 hits. There's 300, 400, 500, 600, 675, 700, 7 1/4. We're right at 750. 3 hits. So now, you know, you have so many options. So basically this is how he started. He said if you got a $1,000 bankroll, you'd take a $500 bullet, you'd have 2 $500 bullets. So you go to the table with that 500, you'd put 440 on the 4, 6, 8, and 10. You never work to come out, and you only work the place bets whenever the throw following the 5, 9, or a yoke. And then as soon as you hit that, if you say you followed with a 5, then you'd stay on again. Then you hit another 5, you'd stay on again. Then say you hit a 9, you'd stay on again. But if you hit any even number or any ace, deuce, or any horn number or any even number, you cut them off. You go off. So, and then after 3 hits, you will be well over 500. So you started with 440, and I'm right at 750. So I'm at 750. So what I will personally do on my own, because I don't know exactly where I would go on his strategy, I would just go 76 inside at a very minimum. There's 76. I got to change for the quarter. There's my 76 inside. Since I'm only needing a 2 and a 12 for a small and a tall, I would just rack that profit up, put that 76 inside. That way I don't really have to worry about a lot of money on the table, and try to see if somehow I can pull that 2 and 12 out of here and hit a tall or small. Alright, so we hit a 5-5 hard 10. That don't help any. We pulled the money off the 10. I didn't have to pull it all down. I did that just because I like, when I go all the way down to 76 inside, usually after 76 inside, I do leave quarters on the 4 and 10. So I'll leave that on there. Hey, what's up, Justin? Alright, Justin, you have a good evening, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by. So here, we still trying to hit this tall or small. Now, the dice set I'm using is 3236. The results of a 2 or a 12 are not that high in this dice set. If I stay on axes, I won't ever get that 2 and 12. Dice it out. Hold on. I'm not supposed to be working these bets anyway. What was my last hit? A 10. So yeah, I was supposed to work them when the 10 came, but now since the 10 came, the puck's off. Yeah, so the puck's off anyway, so I'm not even putting the 176 at risk. But, yeah, I'm just going to stay with his strategy right there. I'm shooting for the tall and small now. Dice are out. Alright, we've got a 3-5-8, so that helps nothing but the SOR, because I'm not working the place bets until after I see a 5-9 or yo. It's the only time I'm working the place bets. I have to read a little bit more detail and figure out, once you regress, do you still use the 5-9 and yo, or do you just regress to failed? I have to get into a little bit more detail. I thought I had it thought out right, but I guess I didn't. Alright, James, I appreciate you stopping by. Again, that's an awesome table, man. And I'll be ready to see you put some videos up. I know you're going to put some up soon. Well, you've been putting them up, but I'm saying I know you'll be putting some on that new table up soon. So, good luck on it, my friend. Dice are out. Alright, we got a 3-3 hardway 6. That's our primary here. Alright, so bet can still be off, but this is what we're going to do. Since we're only needing a 2 and a 12, we're going to go straight ahead and go into the 6-5, 6-4 set and try to create this 12 and them aces. So what I'm going to do, regardless if a 5-9 or 11 comes at this point, I may not even cut them on. I'm going to the 6-5, 6-4. It actually could be 6-4, 6-5. It actually could go either way. I'm going to the 6-5, 6-4 dice set. I'm going to see if I can't hit a 12 or aces. Dice are out. Alright, we got a 4-2-6. So that's an on axis hit. 6-4, 6-5 is on axis. Just a double pitch. 4-2-6. Alright, so we hit the 6. We'll mark that in the tracker. It's 2 6s back to back. So if I was following his strategy right now, the puck would still be off. The place bets would still be off. Dice are out. Alright, we got a 2-6-8. 2-6-8. So again, if we're following his strategy, if we're following Midnight Madness' strategy, the place bets would still be off, because we only cut the place bets on when we hit a 5, a 9, or a yo. You cut them on for the next row. So we're going for 6-4, 6-5 on the dice set. So that last dice was an off axis implosion on left dice. 6-5, 6-4. I mean 6-4, 6-5. Dice are out. 2, 1, 3. We almost got there that time. But again, left dice imploded. The right dice actually exploded. Nope. No, the right dice was on axis. Left dice imploded. 6, 4, 6, 5. I didn't mark that 3, but I'll mark the dice route. Alright, we got a 6, 2, 8. 6, 2, 8, so I got to mark the 3. Then I got to mark the 8. So I can tell you for one thing about this strategy. Those 3 hits got me in the game, got me to the positive side, and has my psychological part of the game out of the way, because there's 300, 400, there's 500. There was my first $500 bullet. I still have a little over 500 here, but I really only should have 500 here, but I have a little extra. So I'm already up. So that part of the game, plus I'm working on this small, well, I'm actually working on the tall or small. I might have to go with like 6, 4, 5, 6. I might have to go with something like that to try to catch that single pitch. But I'm going to go with 6, 4, 6, 5 again. That's right. All right, we got a 3, 2, 5. 3, 2, 5 is our point made. Now, 3, 2, 5. We get a $10 front line winner. We normally, it doesn't matter that the 5 just hit, you never work to come out on his strategy. So, regardless if I wanted to play bets or not, I would not work to come out. So we're going 6, 4, 6, 5. This is a come out. We're trying to hit aces or box cars. Doesn't matter if it's on the come out. I wouldn't care less about that $10. Nice route. Aces in both places. Check it out. Ace, ace. So that's our primary hit on that dice set. We hit our small. Booyah. Now we lost a $10 on the front line. We have to re-up that. No problem. No problem. We're going to put the aces in the tracker. We just won $350. It pays $35 for one. We've got $10 up there, so it pays $350. Booyah. Boom. Just like that. Alright. So we racked the $350. And we're still on the come out. And all we need now is a 12 to hit the tall and complete the all. So 6, 4, 6, 5. We're staying with the 6, 4, 6, 5. We just hit them aces on the primary hit. We need to hit these 6s on another primary hit. Nice. All right. We got an ace. We got a 6, 1, 7. 6, 1. I had one dice on the 6. The other one just double pitched. That is an on axis double pitch. So if that would have stayed on axis, we would have had 6, 6. We'd have completed the tile. Okay. So now that we hit the 7, we missed the tile by only needing the 12. We did get, well, we missed the all by only needing the 12. So that is a 7 on the come out. It pays 10. All right, we get to, at this point, we get to reset our ATS because we hit a 7. So this, even though place bets are nothing in a factor right now. So since I've hit it for the small, I won 350 off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and bump these to 25, 25, and 25. Why not? Why not? Take a chance. We're up money. Nothing's working. You don't work to come out. Now we're back to we're going to stick with 6.5, 6.4 for a little bit and try to get some of those small numbers, some of those extremes out of our way, and just see if it'll come through. Dice are out. All right, we got aces again, so that's a primary hit again. Aces. 1-1. That's a primary hit. Yep, that's a frontline loser. Maybe I should get off that set for the till I get the point established. I've got the 2 out of my way. I got to up this $10 for the front line. That's no problem. We're going to stick with 6.4, 6.5 for a few more throws and try to get the 12 out of our way. Let's go ahead and do a $2 any crouch. That way, since we're throwing this cross 6 set, we're going to go ahead and do $2 any crouch. Should have been doing that all along, probably. Dice are out. All right, we got a 5-2-7. That's no problem. We lost our 75 on our. We lost 75. So we come out 7, knock this 75 down. It's a come out 7. We lost the $2, but we won 10 here. We put the come out 7 in there. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to go back to all the tall and small and all that's off again because we hit a come out 7. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go 25 on the all tall small. We're going to go for a quarter. 10, 5, and 10. And then we're going to go back to our 3-2, 3-6. And we're going to get back to just rolling. And seeing if we can't get some of those numbers out of the way. We never worked the place bets on the come out. Nice right. All right, we got another come out 7, so it pays 10 again. We have to up our 25 on all tall small again. So that's back up. Mark our come out. So let's just do this. We're going to 5, 4. We're going to 6, 4, 5, 6. For the come out, we're going to drop $2 any crowds. Dice are out. Six, 4, 5, 6. Dice are out. All right, we got box cars now. See this crap? Box cars come along. That's what we needed to complete the top, the all a while ago was the box cars. All right, so we lose 10, but we win 14. So ultimately we win $4, and we get to mark the 12 on our tall. So that's pretty cool. So again, we're going with 6, 4, 5, 6. Dice are out. All right, we got 3, 3. Hard way 6. Now we got a point established. So we've hit a 6. But the place bets do not come on until we hit a 5, 9, or yo. So let's go with 3, 2, 3, 6. Dice are out. 5, 6, yo. So that's our on axis. 3236 is our on axis. Double pitch. We hit a yoke. So we've hit the 11. We've hit the 12, the 6, and the 11 on this sequence for the all tall small. All right, so we hit a yo that time. So 5-9 or yo, you cut your place bets on. So 3236. Nice round. 3-5-8. Right dice imploded. 3-5-8. That's a winner. We cut the 8 up. We hit the 8 on the tall. So all we need is a 9 and a 10 to hit the tall again, or to hit the tall. We hit the 8. 18 pays 21. 18 pays 21. You cut the bets off. You cut those off, and we're just going to press. We'll press the 6 and 8. Basically half press. We won 21. We drop 12 back in. Mark the 8 in the tracker, and we've got a 3-5-8. So we got to go with 3-6. 3-6-5-6. We're going to see if we can. I was trying to remember how George showed me that rhythm rolling, but man, I can't get it. Let's just stay with 3-2-3-6. Nice route. 6-5 yo again. 6-5 yo. So that would be a drift. We hit the yo, so that means cut the bets on. We put the yo in the tracker. Hey, what's up, Ace? So Ace, I've had like 32 rows. 3 of those rows were come out 7s, but I hit the small already, and only needed a 12 to complete the all, but I hit a come out 7, so it cleared it. So I'm running a Midnight Madness strategy right here. I started with 440. Basically, I started with $1,000, but he said take $500 bullets. So you basically got 2 different bullets. He called them $500 each. You take the first one, and you never work the come out bet on anything. You never work the come out. I mean, you don't let your place bets work to come out. You put 440 up on the 4, 6, 8, and 10. You put 440. All right. You wait till your points established, and then as soon as the first 5, 9, or 11 shows, you cut your place bets on. You take the first hit, and you regress to 220, and then if it's a 5, 9, or a yo, you continue to leave them on. But any even number or any horn number, you go ahead and cut your bets off. The only time you ever cut them on is as soon as a 5, 9, or 11 hits. So that's where I'm at right now. And so 32 rows. I haven't hit a 7 yet, except for come outs. And I did come out 7 and reset my ATS, but I hit the small earlier, and I had 10 on it, so that paid me $350. So now in this sequence, I've hit a 6. That's what my puck's on right now. But on this end, I've hit an 8, 11, and a 12. So my dice just landed on 11, so I cut the place bets on. And I'm needing a 9 and a 10 to complete a tall. So that's where I'm at right now. Quick review of where I'm at. So place bets are on this round, this throw here. Dice are out. All right, we got a 3-6-9. So we hit our 9. 3-6. That was a 6. 3-6-9. We've got 20 on it. It pays 28, but better yet, all we need now is a 10 to complete a tall to win $350. So we hit our 9. Now that we've hit a 9, it pays 28, but I'm going to drop the dealer 2 and tell him take that 30 and put 15 on my 15 on the 9, 15 on the 10. I mean 15 on the 9, 15 on the 5. So basically that would run my 20s up to 35 each. And all I'm needing is a 10 for 350. So at this point I've got some options. I could go ahead and lay this 10, say for 200. And if I hit the 10, yeah, I lose the 200, but I win 350 on the top. So I'd ultimately win 150. Or I could lay it for a little less than that and win a little more if I hit it. But 200 wins me 100, so that's pretty close to about the right lay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to lay this 10. There's no need in not laying this 10 to lock up at least a guaranteed $95, because if I hit the 7 now, I got to pay $5 VIG for a $100 win. So that'll be a $95 profit. But if I hit the 10, I lose 200, but I win 350. So I'll still win 150. So I'm guaranteeing locking myself in a profit. Now, or I could just be greedy and think, I'm not going to lay that money. I'm just going to take a chance on hitting the 10 and winning the whole 350. That I've tried before, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 200 out there. Hope I hit the 10. Dice are out. Now wait a minute. The last hit was a 9, so the puck is still working. The place bets are still working. The place bets work as soon as you hit a 5, 9, or yoke. The place bets are still working. They were in here earlier, Ace. Some of them might have left. No, Justin, and some of them might have said they had to go get some sleep and different things. So, dice are out. All right, we hit a 415. 415. So we marked the 5 on the small. We've got 35 on it, so for $1 it pays 50. Our puck is still working. Now, I don't know exactly how midnight. This right here is just now. He didn't go this detail with me how far you go. But I've got 24 on both of the 6 and 8, so I'm going to go ahead and pump both of them up to 30 each. That's 30 each. That's 30 each. So now I've got my place bets going back up. The poke will still stay on again because I just hit a 5. I'm only needing a 10 to complete the tall. So, I could take that lay down and just shoot for the 10. And if I don't hit the 10, I'm just going to lose the $25. I could leave the layup, and I'm guaranteeing locking myself in at least $100. So I'm just going to stay with that play for a minute. Dice are out. And we hit a 257. So it's a good thing we didn't pull that lay down. So we hit a 2, 5, 7. We was working this because we just hit a 5. So our bets are down. But the thing is, we've got $200 lay, so it pays, essentially it pays 95. If I drop the dealer $5, he's just gonna throw me 100. So if I don't drop him 5, he's just gonna give me 95. I don't know why. That's 95 for my $200 lay. So I made money on this shooter. I definitely made money on this shooter. We're gonna look at the stats right quick and go over what went on here. First thing we're going to do is we started with a $1,000 bankroll, and I never even got the first bullet completely out of the game. There's 25, so I'm going to put it there. There's 25. I'm just trying to get my, so this would have been my initial bullet. This was my other bullet. Let me see. No, I've got 25 up too much. So there's 100, there's 400, there's 500. So there's what he referred to as a bullet. 500. You got $1,000, which is 2 bullets. You take the first 500 and you do what I was just doing. So we're going to see exactly where we stand on bankroll first, and we're going to look at results. So there's 100. So we're up quite a bit. There's 500 right here. So there's my first bullet. There's my $500 bullet. There's my other $500 bullet. So there's my $1,000 bankroll. We're up quite a bit. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 525, 550, 556. $556 profit. And we was almost going to be up about another 1,100 if we could have got that dang 12. All we needed was a 12. That's another 350. But we're at 556. All right, we're at 556, so that turned out pretty good. But 556. Let's go to the stats now. Stats show right here. 31 rows. Wait a minute, something ain't right. Okay, I see. I thought I was at 32 rows when you come in. The tracker don't start till line to row 4, and it ended on row 34. So that was 31 rows. When you come in, I think I was like on 30 or 31, and I thought I was at 32 rows. I've got about 3 or 4 more rows since you come in. But there's the tracker. So the inside hits is 45.2%, but keep in mind I did change the dice sets up a few times. The SOR is 31. You know, if I could get an average of SOR of 31 on a consistent basis and maintain that, man, I would be like super stoked if I could do something to that nature. 2 2s, 2 3s, 1 12, 3 come out 7s, 1 overall 7, and then the 8 was leading the pack. I had 5 8s. I hit the 8 5 times. The 6 and the 10 were next with 4 hits. The yo 11 and the 5 I hit 3 times each. And I hit the 2, the 3, and the 9 all 2 times each. I've got 1 hit on a 4, 1 hit on a 7, 1 hit on a 12. The 12 come at the wrong time. Right after that come out 7, I hit like a Krauts 2, or maybe I got a point of an 8, and then I hit the 12, like the very next row. And I'm like, look at that crowd. Well, actually, I come out with a come out. Okay, so I hit a come out 7. Okay, so after I made my point, which was a 5, I hit a come out 2, and then I hit a come out 7. That cleared my ATS. And then I hit and so I had to re-up my ATS. So then I hit another come out 2, and then another come out 7, back-to-back come out 7s, and then a 12. So like, I was that close to hitting the tall, well, the all would have paid me $880, and the tall would have paid me another $350. So I'd have had $1,200 more than this 556. Now this is more than 556. There's 5 there. No. 5 goes there. That's right. 5 is part of my original buy-in. There's 100, 200. I got 556 here. I remember counting it now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50, 549, 550. That's 550, 556. So 556 profit off of 31 rows. I mean, in 31 rows in a casino, you know, probably less than an hour. Probably less than an hour. So there's that. I was pretty happy with this overall session. I think Justin's gone. Yeah, that was a nice take for 1 bullet. And as he said, You at this point in time, you have to make your own mind up what you want to do from there. But you're basically putting that 440 up. You're trying to get one hit. You're trying to get 3 hits, but on the first hit, you're going to regress from 440 down to 220, and then on 2 more hits, you can do whatever. After the second hit, after the third hit, you're going to be over $500 profit. And I was, but I put on when I had that come out 7 and I had to re-up on my ATS, I threw 75 up then. I was going to try to hit it again, and I had another come out 7 and wiped that 75 off. And then I was pressing my bets up there at the end, and I lost some of that. But you know, after I hit that, after I regressed down, I really didn't have to do nothing but start just playing for ATS. You know, at that point in time, after the first 3 hits, I was just like, yep, I hit aces twice and boxcars once, and those would have been double the bubble. Yep, skill and luck does it for 40 to 88. You're right. And then see, that's what I'm saying. Midnight Madness, he gave me a little bit of starting about it, but he said, you know, you really can just have your own after you get up. You know. Yep, he starts playing with the winnings. Well, I think it's more after the first hit, because the first hit you got 440 up. So the first hit, you're going to take a $140 hit, a win. And then you're going to reduce 220. So you got 140 and 220. So you got 360. So you're not quite playing with winnings after 1 hit. You really have to wait. You really have to wait to the second hit. But what I did, and this was part of what he said is an option, is after the first hit, because you're only playing the 4, 6, 8, and 10. After the first hit, he said you can regress 220, and then lay the place the 5 and 9 for 100 each. And I did that, so I could have actually probably had, well, I wouldn't have probably had no more, because I hit them 5s and 9s some with that money on them. But it's basically just putting your, it's basically just limiting your exposure, limiting your bankroll to the exposure, to the at-risk exposure. Now that is a lot of money to put up, so 1 roll could wipe that 440 out. So you still have quite a bit of risk by putting 440 up, but you don't have as many rows. You don't have your risk is not every single row. That's I think that's where the difference comes in. Is when you don't have your bankroll up there at risk on every single row. Now of course you miss a lot of rows. I didn't bring the lay down, but when I 7'd out, it paid for it. And the lay would still be up. No, the chip's up there, but the money's gone. I paid myself for it. That's just the chip. That's just a little lay chip, and then the buy chip. But the yeah, I didn't pull it down. It was 200 up there whenever I hit the 7. So I lost the place bets I had up there, which was 130 inside. I had 130 inside, and I had a quarter out here on the 4, so that was 155 that I lost on the place bets whenever. You know what though? Yeah. I was working the next throw because I hit a 5 before I hit the 7. So anything 5, 9, or 11, you cut your bets on. So I'd hit a sequence of, I'm going to go back about 5 rows. I'd hit an 8, so the next row my put was off, and then I hit a yo. So the next row after the yo it was on, I hit a 9, it stayed on. I hit a 5, it stayed on, and then when I hit the 7, so my put was still working, my placements was still working. So yeah, I had 130 inside, and I had a quarter on the 4, and I had a lay 200 on the 10. So yeah, I walked away. You know, that would be like, as he said, you know, he'd walk away at this point right here, up over 500, out the door, come back and fight another day. Now, it's a little harder for me to do that because the distance I am from the casino, the closest I can get to a casino, the closest for me is a 2.5 hour drive. You know, that's the closest. And I don't want to drive, I don't want to drive for 2.5 hours and roll one time and leave. Now that might be better than staying. because I'm up positive to the profit 556, even if it only took 30 minutes. 2.5 hour drive to go in. No, it's not actually Gulfport. Gulfport, I'm about 5.5 hours. I'm all the way up here in North Mississippi, up close to, right close to Tupelo, which is about 90 miles. Tupelo is 90 miles outside of Memphis, east of Memphis, and I'm a little further east. I'm on further closer to Alabama from Tupelo, so I'm 2.5 hours from Tunica, 2.5 hours from Southland in West Memphis, Arkansas. But that might be the best thing to do. Drive 2.5 hours, win 550, get back in the truck, go home. You spent less than 6 hours, and 5 of them was on the road, and you got $550. That's pretty good day's work, especially if you could do it every day. If you could do half of that every day, I mean, what would be wrong with that? That would be great. Ultimately, also, that would be what I would ultimately try to get to be able to do. Cash in my full paying job for a full paying craps gambler. It'd be awesome to be able to do that. It'd be awesome, like VDC, move to Vegas and live there. Man, I would love it. I'd probably, I would. It'd be scary. It's a scary thought. It'd be a scary thought for me to go to Vegas. It's a scary thought for me just thinking about it. Get out there and go belly up, lose everything I have because I'm out there gambling. But if I got enough discipline behind me and enough experience with a lot of these different strategies and found some really stuff that really works instead of this just getting hot one night and winning 550 and the next night coming and losing 600, it's up and down. Now, if I had the throwing skills, or if I'm ever able to acquire the throwing skills that George has, if I can ever get my practice in good enough to be consistent on my throws as he is. See, this is an on-axis hit. 3.236 produces a 2.68. That's an on-axis primary. If I can ever get my skills close, yep, you're right. Built like around gaming, like Tony Leo, man, I would love something like that. I mean, I started this in January. No, I didn't start this practicing until February. I knew nothing about dice control. I knew absolutely nothing about betting strategies. I knew absolutely nothing about grip, swing, release, landing zone. That was foreign language to me. I've never even heard of it up until February. And a video come up on my YouTube account talking about, it was a history channel. Yep. So make you 500 in an hour or so and get out. Get up, get out, get up. What y'all say the other day? What you did? Get in, get up, and get out. Okay, so as you mentioned him teaching, so what I was getting to was February, something popped up on my YouTube account. It was from Dominators. It was from the History Channel. It was a documentary on the Dominators. First time I'd ever heard of the man. I didn't know what it was. It just, something popped up and said, Beating Vegas. Something to that effect. I watched it. It was a history documentary and it talked about Dominator. So then I was like, man, what's all this mean? So, I've never heard of this. So then at that point, I popped open and started looking for dice control, dice set. I just started searching that kind of stuff. And the first name that come up on mine was Color Up. So I was like, okay. So I started watching a bunch of his videos, and that led me into other people. And that led me over to KD, and then and just one thing led to another, and then I went and got, if you can see way back in the background, there's a table standing up. It's actually not a table. It's just a 3 foot by 6 foot felt that I bought off Amazon. I bought some chips, and I took a piece of plywood and I wrapped that piece of felt on it and stapled it down. And I bought me a rubber bat, a pyramid, diamond bat, and I throwed that sucker up there and I started practicing. And I did that for a few months, and then back in about April or May, I said, man, I'm going to build me a real long table, a full one. It's got walls that I can really get more consistent on having walls and having a long table, because that one's only 6 foot. So in order for me to throw the long 8-foot distance, I had to pick the dice up off the table and get them set and gripped. And I had to walk way back 2 or 3 feet. And in midair, I had to practice. I had nothing under me. I had to practice my holding. So I said, man, I got to get something more stable so I can get more real. So I did, and I built this table. But while I was building this table, my mind was going into the idea of this. In my area, I'm 46. Tunica was, they established the casinos in Tunica in the middle 90s or the early 90s. I was just hitting 21 or better whenever they come in, somewhere in that age. So basically, ever since I've been old enough to gamble legally, I've been going to Tunica on and off. It's not like I'm an addict and I go every weekend. I don't even go 4 times a year. But for several years, I've went many times over the 25 years. And I've been to Biloxi a few times. And I've been to Vegas a few times. But I've never even heard about all this stuff. So my idea was, if I'm right here 2.5 hours away from Tunica, and all this dice stuff's going on, and I've never heard of this stuff about dice control, dice setting, strategies, hedge betting, hot bets. You know, I knew nothing about that. I knew what a pass line was, and I knew what the hard ways was. I knew a little bit about place bets, but I didn't know the odds. I didn't know how they paid. I just know you put money on them, and if you put money on them and they hit before the 7 hit, the dealer steadily paid you. You know, I didn't know what to throw out there. I didn't know. I knew nothing about don't passes. I knew nothing about combs. I didn't know what the field meant. I knew nothing about the don't combs. I knew nothing about hops. I knew hardly nothing about horns. And so I'm thinking, this is all this year I'm thinking this. All during COVID I'm thinking. All during February, March, and April when I was first starting practicing, before I built this table, I was thinking, man, how that I've been around this stuff for 25 years and never heard of this stuff. How many more people in my area has never heard this stuff? So I come across those videos with Color Up and El Toro, and I seen the Craps Nation crew, and it was, you know, more of a smaller locked. I ain't gonna say that was locked, but it was an inner circle group. You know, you didn't just get in like it is now. But I've come across Casino Quest. And I seen David and Alex and them on that Casino Quest, and I said, man, that's a great idea. Now I know in my area, I couldn't do what they do as far as like hire full-time dealers and charge $25 an hour and do this. I know I couldn't start out like that. I don't have the funds to start it like that. But my idea was this. Hey, I can build my own tables. So that's going to save me. If I build 3, that's $10,000 if I buy them from, if I buy them to be built. I can build 3 similar to this for $1,000 a piece. That counts the felt, the rubber bags, and probably enough chips for each table and dice. So I'm just going to say 1,000 plus my labor. So I thought, hey man, I could build 2 to 3 tables, and I could open me up something locally that's not really big like Casino Quest. Hopefully it would grow into that. And I would basically start teaching strategies, and more important than teaching, I would set a place up for people that want to practice, to come in and practice. That's more or less what I want to do. So, I was thinking, if I can, if you're an athlete and you want to go lift weights, guess what? Chances are most people don't have a full weight room at their house, so they go to a gym. If you go swim, you don't have an Olympic-sized swimming pool in your backyard, so guess what? You're going to go to an aquatic center. So I'm thinking the same thing about dice. If people want to learn this game, one thing, part of it is the dice throwing. So they need a place to practice. Another thing I thought would be, I can show them betting strategy. I can teach them about hedge betting. I can teach them, I can show them some stuff, but I'm not an expert by no means. So I don't know a lot of it, but I know decent. I know my way around it pretty good now because I've been around this stuff this whole year, ever since February. And now it's August, so that's 6 or 7 months. So I know a lot about it. I know there's a lot more I want to learn, but ultimately, I am still pretty much considering opening me something up locally. The Tupelo area. Tupelo's a pretty good sized community. I mean, Tupelo, Mississippi is a pretty good sized town. It's probably 35,000 people, but it's in a good location. It's in between Memphis and Birmingham. It's in a pretty decent location for our area, and it's not a long ways away from Tunica. It's 90 miles from Memphis, which West Memphis, Arkansas has got that casino, but I just thought, man, that would be so awesome to have something like that. Just a place really to come and learn and to come and practice. Just to come and practice. So that's really where I'm at. I just have got myself pretty busy over the past couple of months with a bunch of construction work, but I've about done worked my way out of some of those jobs, and I'm not taking on as many right now. I just wanted to free up some of my time and not take on too many more jobs. I got other people wanting me to do jobs for them, but I'm just turning stuff down. But I don't want to put a facility. I don't want to put a club in West Memphis. I just say I like to go somewhere around Tupelo. I like to go up around Tupelo. That's only about an hour and a half from Memphis. There's plenty of people up around Tupelo, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people close to my area right here that's interested in some of this stuff that I've learned this year alone that they don't know. Because like I said, I've been around, these Tunica casinos has been around for 25 years. And I'm 46, so I've had plenty of time to go to plenty of casinos. I've never heard of this stuff. And I've been to the craps tables a bunches of times. Yeah, I've heard some crazy stuff about West Memphis too, but I don't want to be visiting that place too often. I might would go back to the casino there, but I was at the casino in West Memphis about a month ago, and there was 2 tables open. They were kind of weird. If you got on stick left side, your minimums on one table was 15, and on the stick right side, you could go down to minimum 10. All right, there was a second table open that on stick left minimum was 25, but on the right side minimum was 15. So I was like, man, y'all got this is screwed up. So so I'm like, why is it so much different on each end? And I really never got an answer. On top of the tables being weird like that, there was no proposition bets. They had no ATS. They had no hops. They had no fire. They had no repeater. They had nothing but straight out regular old school craps. Horn bets, hard ways, and just lay out here. That's all they had. So I was like, no, I wasn't too fond of that. I didn't really too much mind the $25 or the $15 because that's just normal everywhere now. And then on top of that, the table, them dice right there would have went off the table. That what I just threw that kind of high arc and landed hard, those dice would have bounced completely off the table. So the guys was having to take the dice and they was having to do all kind of roll like that. They was having to hit them way down in here, and let them just roll to the end. And some of them was trying to throw them so easy, they wouldn't even never get to the back wall. But that right there, all that low and throwing right there and rolling, ain't nothing but random rolling. They would do a lot of crap like that. They would just roll halfway down there, and the stick man was letting it roll like that. Because if they threw them with a high arch, them dice would bounce completely off the table. And I said, man, I can't stick around this table long. Alright, well if I'm ever up around that way, I'll know that I don't want to play on them tables. Now, let me think who it was telling me the other day. Okay, it was Robert. Craps for Life. He was telling me a weekend or two ago. Yeah, so hold on, let me tell you this, the plexiglass. No, so at Southland there wasn't any plexiglass. You didn't have to worry about plexiglass, that didn't bother you. There was none. Well, where the stick man stood, he had a plexiglass on both sides of him. But it didn't bother you. Even at stick left one, it wasn't bothering you. So it was no problem. The plexiglass was no bother. But Robert, CFL, Craps for Life, was telling me that, dang, what's the name of the casino? The Palace. The Palace in Biloxi. He said, you got ATSs, you got hard as a rock table, and he said, all you have to do is like a minimum $5 bets. You just have to buy in for $200. You know, you just buy in for $200. That's going to be probably standard for us anyway, to buy in for $200. I don't guess they're going to sit there and make you spend $200. They're just making you buy in for $200, and then you can minimum bet all the way down to $5. So I'm like, man, you really said what I want to hear when you said hard table, and really when you said hard table coupled with ATS, that's really what I'm looking for. But I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more something, and then I'm gonna call this an end. So after I went to Southland that night, I only rode twice. I stood around the table while it come around to me. When I got on the table, I had to wait for stick left one guy to leave, so I got in his place. He had just 7'd out when he left. I mean, he 7'd out, then he left. So I got in his place. And it was 4 on each end, so I had to wait for 3 on that end and 4 on that end, and it got to me, I shot. I had 3 or 4 rows, 5 or 6, I can't remember how many rows, but it was so bouncy. I wasn't taking big risk out there on place bets. Finally 7'd out, probably wasn't down no money. Dice went on around, it got back to me for my second time, and I put 110 inside, and I come out with like a 4. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be scared of these 4s and 10s, because I'm finna hit some. So I throw the quarter on the 4s and 10s, and I hit 4s and 10s in that round about 3, 4, 5 times each, or not each, but all together. So it was paying me 50 a lick, 49 for $1, 50 for 2. I mean 50 for 1. So I was dropping them $1 and they stole me 50, and I hit about 4, 5, or 6 4s and 10s. And then I 7'd out. I lost my 110 on the inside, and I lost my 25s on the outside, but I'd made enough to cover all that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to stay at this table no more. 2 rows for me was enough. Well, I waited around for a little bit longer, and I let some of these other guys shoot, and I played a little bit of iron crosses and stuff. But I could never really do no good, and I didn't want to hang out at that casino no longer because they didn't have the ATS mainly, but also because that table was bouncy. So I went and found my wife, and we left and went over to Tunica and went to the Gold Strike. Got to the Gold Strike, no plexiglass, 4 people to the end, 4 people per end, $15 minimum, ATS. I had to wait for a while, about maybe 40 minutes to get my stick left one. Finally got it. Had to wait till the dice come to me. Got the dice. Them table was bouncy. Them sucker was bouncy like the like Southland. I was like, man, this sucks. Nah, this just old 2x12s. Just regular old 2x12 pine. Regular old knotty pine. But anyway, the Gold Strike was bouncy too. I first walked into the Horseshoe, and the Horseshoe had all stick left one and stick right one positions closed on every table. These are 2x12s. They had everything closed on stick left one and stick right one, and on top of that, every table was minimum 25. But it's pine, it's regular old rough pine. But yeah, I left some of these knots and things in this, and I put them on these sides so they can be exposed for the character. I left some of that like that for the character intentionally, because I could buy enough of the gator back to cover all the inside, and I could do a lot of other stuff to the inside to cover all this so you would never see it. But yeah, I'll leave that kind of stuff. I liked it, so I sanded it down real good after I cut all these different angles and stuff and everything. I've got to trim my grooves out for my chips. I've got the router in the bit. Actually, went Sunday and bought another router so it would fit my bit. And I just got to groove these rails out and then cover the rest in the padded foam so I can finish this table off. But a couple weekends ago, I didn't have no luck. Actually, the Ghost, I didn't play it the Horseshoe at all because the $25 minimums wasn't as much of a factor as they had all stick left one positions closed. So I've been practicing from stick left one. Not so much a betting strategy, but more of throwing. So I really want to throw, but I don't want to back up with real money on the line and have to go for 2.5 more feet deeper. You know, I don't know how my dice is going to act. They might act better than they do closer. I don't know. I hadn't practiced there. That's all I'm saying. I really need to start practicing from deeper just in case, but I have not did that. So I didn't want to do it that night with real money on the line before I practice it here. So I didn't play there, but I went into Gold Strike and I stayed for an hour or so, hour and a half. And by the time that whole trip to Southland, Gold Strike, and Horseshoe was over, I still netted $75 profit. And that was with giving my wife $100 to go play slots on when we first got there. She lost a little bit on slots, but she didn't lose $100. She don't play it that much. So she lost like $40 and cashed out. And she'd give me back, actually she probably didn't even lose $40 because she handed me back like $42, and then she give me a coupon, a ticket for said $21.19. So she still only lost like $37. But anyway, the next weekend, that night I wanted to go further, but she was tired and I'd promised her I wasn't going to stay long, so we come on home. It was 4 o'clock in the morning when we got home. But the next weekend I told her, I said, I'm going to Sam's Town tonight. That was about 2 weeks ago. And Sam's Town had one table. No plexiglass, 4 people to a table, 4 people to an end. Minimum table, you could bet kind of whatever you wanted to, but as long as you had to have $25 in play. It didn't matter what. It didn't matter if you had $5 on the 4 and 5 on the 10 and 5 on the hard way and 10 on the pass line. As long as you had $25, yep, gotta always take care of mama, ain't no doubt. But anyway, that Sam's Town, it was a hard table. It had ATS. It was no plexiglass. Everything was cool. I got in line, just get in stick left one, and guy was there, and when he got the dice, man, he shot and shot. He shot for about at least 30 rows. Hit the tall, hit it all. The small and the tall. And I was like, dang, man, I wish I was on this table. Yeah, I like the harder table, no doubt. I don't want that bouncy table. I want more of the hard table. That way, when they hit, they pretty much are supposed to die if you throw them right. If you throw them deep, just the right depth. You throw them the right depth with the right angle. And if you hit that back wall just like you're supposed to, they're supposed to do that. They're supposed to hit and die. That's what I want them to do. I want them to hit just like that. That was almost a perfect throw. It was on axis, it's just a single pitch. But that was almost a dead perfect throw. The dice hit real deep in the landing zone, and as soon as they hit the back wall, and they died as soon as they hit. That's what I want them to do every time. Yep, I love the 9s. 5s and 9s seems like they my biggest numbers. But anyway, on the Sam's Town, dude hit I couldn't get to the table. It was full. Dude hit the all tall small. And it was nice. He racked up. Everybody at the table was winning money. Well, finally, when he 7'd out, there was a woman next to him. No, there was a guy in the hook, there was a woman at the end, and there was another guy in that other hook. And then on the other end, it was 4 more people down there, 4 males. Anyway, these next 3 people right here, the first guy beside him, .7 out. The woman got the dice. She hit a point, and then another inside number. I don't remember what her second number was, but she hit 2 numbers and then 7'd out. So he had 2 rows, she had 3, and then the next dude in that hook, 2 rows, point, 7 out. And that was right after old school right here hit the all tall small. And the table went that quick to code. It went to the other end. Now them guys got a little bit something else going on that end, them 4 people, but it wasn't long. There wasn't nobody else making money, and didn't nobody help hit no all or tall or small. And they didn't throw long, not over 5 or 6 each person. Well, the dice moved back across the dealer, and it was coming to old school right here. And right before they got to him, this dude in the hook left. So I jumped in the hook. And I was going to play right there for a minute. And before I could get any bets done, it was old school's turn. Because they wouldn't let me bet. The spot was there, but they had to get somebody to clean it. So this dude was shooting. By the time he finished shooting, they finally got this in. They finally got that hook clean so I could start betting. Well, the dice went to old school. Old school threw his chips in and said, "Color me up. I'm not shooting." And the girl right there, she was like, "Oh, you're not gonna shoot for us?" And he's like, "No, I think the table's done went cold now." Well, he colored up. He had about 1,600, and he was a regular. They knew him by name. He was there a lot. Well, anyway, since he was gonna leave, the dice was gonna come to me. They was trying to color him up. He had all kind of chips in the way. They wasn't handing me the dice. Well, I asked him. I said, "Well, can I just move down here?" So I got in stick left one. But I couldn't get nothing going. And I could not get nothing going. I would roll, and I'd get close to as tall or small, and I couldn't complete it, not 7 out. And I'd lose 130 or 110 on the inside. I'd take a couple hits, and I couldn't get nothing going for that whole night. I mean, I stayed at that table. I got there that night about 10:30 or 11, and then by 1 o'clock, it was only about down to me on the table. And there were some guys standing back like they wanted to get on the table, but they was talking about, "I ain't never played it, I don't know how to do it." And so they was kind of watching. I was trying to still hit this all tall small. So I was still playing. And then a couple guys got on this end with me, and they shot a little bit, but then all of a sudden, the pit boss called last shooter. It's like 1:45. I'm like, "What do you mean?" They said, "We got to shut it down. We're supposed to shut down at 1 o'clock. We've been letting y'all go over just because it's been 3 of y'all here. We've been giving y'all a chance, but we got to shut it down." I said, "You got to shut the table down? You mean we sitting here playing? I've been here for 2.5 hours, and you going to shut the table down? I done got like $300 lost in this game." So they shut it down. So I was like, "Ain't that about some bull crap?" But anyway, I drove across the road to Hollywood, and they was same situation. They had one table in there. It's closed. I asked the dealer. I said, "When is that craps table going to open?" They said, "Oh, about 1 in the afternoon." I said, "1 in the afternoon? What kind of casinos is this? What are y'all not running dice tables all the time for?" He said, "No, we only run them like 12-hour shifts." I said, "Well, ain't that about some bunch of bull crap?" So I'm probably down 300, 350, 400. I can't remember exactly. 340, I think. Could have been 360. But I said, "Dang." Well, I could see the gold strike over there. I knew I was just there the last weekend, but I tried to give it a try too. Didn't have no luck in there that night neither. I tried to shoot a couple times. I ended up leaving that weekend with a loss of 550. So I'm just biding my time because it's getting about time for me to go back to one of them and try to get on a winning streak, because I've had a losing streak the last time. But the Philadelphia casinos, I forgot about them. I'm probably about 2 hours. I'm probably about 2 hours from the Philadelphia casinos. 2.5 at the most, about 2.5. But I looked them up a couple of weekends ago before I went back down to Samstown, and they were saying something about the 14th or 15th. So I think that's this coming weekend they're supposed to be open. So I'm thinking about Saturday maybe, I don't know. School started back for my kids this week, but they'll be going off to their mamas come Friday. They'll get out of Dodge. They'll be gone all the way till they get out of school Monday evening. So by the time they go to school Friday morning, I won't even see them no more. They'll catch them rides out and go off to their mamas and won't come home till Monday evening. But anyway, I might go down to Philadelphia sometime over the weekend and see what's happening there. I haven't been to Philadelphia in a minute, so I don't know what kind of tables they got there. They might not have all tall, small, or nothing. I don't know. But if I go to Philadelphia, I'll give a trip report. But if they don't have any good tables, I might just go straight on over to Tunica and go back to Sam's Town, because Sam's Town had the table conditions I liked. .426. So Sam's Town, the only thing about Sam's Town and my table that's a little bit different, this back wall, I've got deep hooks. My hooks are barely circular. You can see that hook is not much of a circular. It's almost like a square. It's almost like a 90. Sam's Town, it's almost circular all the way around. Like this whole end's almost oval. It's hardly any straight, flat back wall. It is a little bit in this area, flat, straight, but it's mostly circular. So that kind of throws me for a loop that night, I believe, because like where I'm shooting right now, it's hitting a mostly flat back wall. But Sam's Town is more circular in them hooks. So I was throwing, if this makes any sense, right now I'm trying to throw my dice on a straight plane, which is parallel to this back wall. So if I'm 6 inches out right now, where I'm trying to make them land is 6 inches out from the wall, parallel. Well, at Sam's Town, since that hook was so circular, I was throwing them at an angle. Let me see if I can make this make sense to you. I'm 6 inches away from the wall here, but when I throw them, I'm throwing them at an angle, so they're not staying 6 inches away. They're coming more towards the center, more like here, when they're hitting 18 inches away. So I think what was happening on that, since I threw them at an angle, they're traveling at an angle. And when they hit, you basically kind of getting one random roll because they're not hitting flat like I'm used to playing. I don't know if that's making sense. It's making sense to what I'm thinking, but it's not making sense to what I'm trying to say. So if they're coming in straight, perpendicular to the wall, and they land, both dice are hitting and ricocheting and landing perpendicular. But if they're coming in at an angle, because they're being thrown at an angle, one dice is ahead of the other, so the dice are not hitting square to the back wall. I don't know how much more that was making, but that might not have been causing any problems. But anyway, it was throwing me off because I was intentionally, instead of throwing them straight down, like I'm normally used to throwing, I was having to throw them way out there to try to avoid that deep, that wide hook. I was throwing out there, so like I said, I don't know if that was causing me any problem, but I know psychologically it was different than what I was used to. But I don't know if that was causing me any problem. Yeah, okay, so I've been sitting here talking. I've been trying to look up at the comments. Let me see. You say you're going to, once a week. Oh, you're going to try to go once a week? How far away locally are you? I mean, what kind of drive do you got to get there? Yeah, stacked dice. I've seen, Wager does some stacked dice, and I've seen a couple other players, but I've seen Wager doing it. And basically, what I got from Wager, 1 hour. That's not too bad. I could, if I was close, if I was an hour away, I'd probably go 2 or 3 times a week if I could, stay disciplined and not go in there and get on tilt. But what I seen a Wager about the stack dice, what I kind of understood of that, what you're trying to do is cause that bottom dice, whatever you set it on. If you want a 5 and you set him on 5, whatever you want that dice result to be, you set it up. And then when you stack them, and throw them. However they land, basically what's supposed to happen, that bottom dice, that top dice is supposed to, when they land and hit this back wall, close to the back wall, that top dice is just like a sledgehammer, just driving that bottom one into the mat so that it just sticks. As soon as they hit, it's just stopping. It's just dead stopping that bottom one right where it goes. And ultimately, I think the way Wager said, whatever you set that topping on, if you throw them just right, it's supposed to hit and roll off. I don't know if it rolls backwards, but you got to get your throw down. But ultimately, I think the way Wager was trying to explain it one day, I might have missed it later, but that's what he was showing. He was kind of gripping them to a degree to where he had them set off center. And when he throwed them, he kind of twisted them a little bit and throwed them. But you want them to land stacked. Now that's what he was trying to do. That's the first time I've ever thrown a stacked dice, so I don't know how to do it yet. But anyway, it's probably definitely worth trying other spots on the table. Yep. So that's what I seen Wager doing. He was doing what you're talking about. He was twisting and spinning them. But by the time they hit, he was making them suckers. Wager he was showing, I can't remember exactly how he was doing them, but yeah. So you're probably right. So, I guess, pretty much it's just what you get used to and what you can seem like in your mind works for you. I don't know. To me, what I'm doing right here feels like just a straight random throw, but who knows? Yep, twisting left and rotating the hand clockwise. You're right. So I mean, I don't know exactly what they was doing. There's so many different. I seen one guy at Tunica last time I was there. He was taking them and setting them on something, and he was grabbing them right here with these two fingers. He was in this position. He was in stick right one. He was grabbing them with them two fingers, and he was slinging them suckers straight forward, underhanded. And he was slinging them hard. He couldn't hit no tall or small with it, but he would hit a few numbers. And he was getting his money out the game. I didn't see him losing money. I don't know what he was doing. I just thought, man, that's some random throwing. I wasn't betting on it. But anyway, I've been on this thing about 2 hours. No, an hour and 27 minutes. But hey, so you was all the way down on this other hook, and you was swinging back that way. Was you swinging with your left hand, or was you swinging with your right? Yeah, we're going to have to get going. So when you throw, though, all right, so you're down the right end from the stick man. Are you throwing with your left hand? Or are you throwing with your right hand? Oh, he was the only shooter. But you was on the other end. Okay, so you wasn't shooting. You was just letting him shoot? Is that what you're saying? And he was shooting from this hook with that spin, with that clockwise and twist and all. And you was on the other end. Oh, you never got to throw. He got to throw. He won some money. You got up. You got in, got up, and got out, huh? Hey, it ain't nothing wrong with that. If I was an hour away, definitely $300, $400, $500 profit, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it took, I'm gone. But I mean, that's definitely 35 minutes, 600 up, ain't no doubt. You made a correct move. 600 up in 35 minutes, man, that's awesome. I did see that day that you had all them chips posted, a picture of them, so I knew you was up like that. But didn't even have to shoot to get that 600. Man, that's great. But hey, so I'm going to get going, my friend. It is 10:14. I got to get up at about 5:30, 6 in the morning. And I'm going in and grab a shower and get in the bed and go to work tomorrow. And I'll be back on here sometime tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow afternoon. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. It's been a blast, my friend, and definitely will do this again. And if you're on the LFC tomorrow, it starts at 6:30 Eastern, But I might do a practice session before then. And if not, though, I'll catch up with you then, Ace. I appreciate you hanging out with me, my friend. And on that note, dice are out.